Hi, this is Todd Isaacson, your sales coach or sales guy, whichever you prefer. And today we're going to talk about providing a solution for your customers. And to give a little background, if you haven't seen my other videos, for over 14 years, I sold to big box, we call them big box retailers, so larger retailers. I was a national sales manager for 10 years and doing that function, traveling throughout the United States and into Canada, and also back to China. And then for as a VP of sales, I traveled back to Vietnam, Taiwan, and traveled to major retailers here in the U.S. And what I'd like to discuss is this is not a one-time sales like you're trying to sell a car or a house. You're trying to sell a solution to the buyer to help them fill the shelves and to have success in selling and doing what we would call a sell-through. So they're going to have success in selling the item and moving on to the next product. It's very important that everything is done in a timely measure for the bigger box retailers, because they're going to have other products coming in, needing space, depending on seasonal items too, like for holidays and so forth. And maybe for summertime, they're going to have a certain set of products. And again, the same thing for fall. So whatever you're providing, it needs to sell quickly within a reasonable amount of time. And so that in mind, what I like to teach you is to focus on selling a solution to the customer and not just a one-time sales. So the buyer, what happens is you provide a quotation to the buyer, whether it's during a review, maybe a sample you'll provide also, but you'll provide the item to the buyer, and he'll have to either show the item to upper management, or he'll physically show the physical item, or show them on a PowerPoint presentation, upper management, so everybody can be on board, because it's expensive if the major retailer makes a mistake and they can't sell through the item. It's expensive for you because they're going to want to know whether you can take the product back, or they might just insist you take the product back if it doesn't sell. It just creates a big mess. So they're going to report to upper management and explain why they believe the item will sell through and sell in a proper amount of time, and why the item is a good value proposition to the customer or member of the particular store. So you need to plan on, when you're going to present the item to the buyer, the more information you can give him, the better, because he or she is going to have to gather the information one way or the other to report to upper management. So just think of it as if you're having to provide a report to a manager as to why you believe an item will be a better selection than what they currently have, because they currently will probably have that item or a similar item in the store. So you want to plan to provide what we would call comps, meaning that you provide the selling amount of similar products or your product on different platforms. And that way they can see that price-wise, the item will fit the bill for sales, and then explain what makes your item a superior choice than what they currently have. Because obviously, if your item is not superior to this item that they currently have in stock, they're not going to make the change. It's very expensive for a major retailer to actually change over to new items. And sometimes they'll ask the vendor to pick up that expense, but either way, it's not a small proposition. There's a lot of steps that an item has to go through to actually be on the shelf. It has to go through quality control, factory inspections, and just a long list of things that have to be done. So the buyers are gonna be very careful about whether they make the change to another item, and they're gonna want to be sure that it's going to be a better selection of what they currently have and will sell well. You want to make sure too that you explain you have customer service in place to back up the product. You have parts on hand, warranty service and this type of thing. So the buyer is aware and can report to upper management that everything is in place for the sale of the item. It's not just a simple, you're selling to the customer, to the buyer one time and you're done. You have to, so to speak, back up the item and make sure that everything is done from a customer service perspective. And so that's another thing to keep in mind too, when you're trying to replace another item, is there likely is a reason, either maybe it didn't sell that well, or maybe it had a high return rate. I've seen that. I know of a vendor that was a large vendor that was not taken out of a larger retail store because of the return rate that they started to see for the item. And so that you want to try to understand what were the reasons, or what are the reasons for the change. So you make sure you're addressing that, and you make sure you're aware and cognizant, because your item might be more prone to having more returns. There just could be a lot of reasons for a change. But keep in mind, it's not necessarily that buyers will want to make a change. So maybe it's the current item is not selling. Maybe there's a return issue. Maybe they feel they could just plain and simple get better value. Maybe they think that the current product is kind of stale, meaning that they feel that their customers, their members, have already seen the item. They're just gonna, at this point, after 2 years of it being on the shelf, they've either bought it if they want to buy it, or they're just going to keep walking by it. So they want to have a change. They want to have something new. This brings up one more point, that most retailers are looking for something innovative, something that adds value to the customer. It's not just simply a measure of, what's the cheapest. That's not necessarily what the buyers are after. They want innovative, a value proposition for their member or customer, and this is what they're after. Generally for an item. So, if this video has provided you some help and some assistance on how to sell to major retailers, how to sell to big box stores, please hit that like button. Please subscribe. Please provide comments, or ask me any questions that you have, and I'd be happy to try to help you and go ahead and respond to those questions. Thank you very much for listening. Again, this is Todd, the sales guy, or your sales coach, and I hope that this video has provided you some assistance for your career in selling to larger retailers. Thank you very much. Take care. Have a great day.